Welcome back to our playthrough of Carnage and Aether, Revenants of Veldonia by Black Oak Entertainment. Today we're going to continue taking a look at the game. We are going to cover patrons, take a look at what favor is and how that works. We will probably also fill out a few more of masteries for our character. And then if we have enough time, we will roll up what our first real match in the arena is going to be. So we created our character. We had our first preview deathmatch. And after you do that, we were victorious. It tells you on to go to page 89 and select a patron. After they survive their first match, players choose one of several patrons to pledge allegiance to. Even if they're fighting together, player characters can choose different patrons. There are many individuals in Veldonia willing to offer the patronage to Revenants, but the three shown here are the most famous ones. So then the book gives you a choice of three patrons to select. Okla Ironsworth, Jarek Moorwood, and Kairos Jeromikos. And the way that I was read into it, Okla Ironworth is more like you get supplies of powerful gear and physical combat focus benefits. Jarek Moorwood is more spell casting focused. And lastly, Kairos Jeromikos. He's a wealthy merchant. And he prioritized wealth and commerce, granting economic boosts, exotic gear, and a wealth of opportunities. So I think with us being a combination of ranged and magic, let's go ahead and select Kairos Jeromikos as our patron. This is all on page 89 after you have your first match. So Kairos is a wealthy merchant from the distant lands of Galaka. He has recently established himself in Veldonia and has immediately poured all his numerous resources into gaining as much influence in the city as possible, which includes a generous arena patronage. Revenants choosing to work with Kairos must understand that he prioritizes wealth and commerce, granting economic boosts, exotic gear, and a wealth of opportunities. All right, so we're going to go to our character sheet here, and we have a note section. Feel free to grab your character sheet if you have it. And we're just going to jot down, I didn't see anything specifically that called out patron. Oh, I do see it. It's actually on the very first page. So it has a section here called patron. We're going to go ahead and jot down Kairos's name. Let's see, Kairos, K-Y-R-O-S, Jeromikos. That will be Kayla's patron. All right. So then we have favor. Patron favor represents the esteem and interest bestowed upon you by the patron that you have sworn service to. It is not a real currency, but a representation of how far your patron is willing to grant you their help in the form of potent boons and advantages. By dedicating your victories and heroic acts to your patron, you accumulate their favor over time. So patron is going to be a currency that you can use to get bonuses. And you can earn favor in a number of ways. It says completing patron requests grant 20 favor. Winning a match grants 5 favor. Getting the favor of the crowd grants 2 favor. And you can burn an aspect at the altar of the patron's favored deity to grant 1 favor. All right, so then they have here a section called patron requests. Completing a patron request grants 20 favor and 10 dedication. You can complete requests across multiple matches, and the same request can be completed multiple times. We can also forfeit a patron's quest at the cost of 10 favor. So right now we just picked our patron. We don't have any favor. We're going to roll a d10 on the patron's request table and see what does Kairos demand of us. right, so we'll get our D10 out. A 10. Win 3 matches without using any consumables. All right, so we'll go to our notes section. Favors, requests, and we'll say win 3 matches without using consumables. So I'm just going to write Kairos name here. Win 3 matches, no consumables. So every time we win a match and don't drink a potion or consume anything, we get a check mark and we can check one of those off. And if we do that, we get 20 favor and 10 dedication. All right, so that's what he wants us to do. He wants us to show that we are self-sufficient in the arena. There's another section called dramatic achievements. Whenever we pull off something dramatic and provide a good show, we can get additional favor. And then it has lists here like Giant Slayer, defeat an elite without taking damage, 50 favor. Immortal, take 40 damage in a single match, 40 favor. So it has all these different ways to boost your favor. And then there's favor perks. So patron favor unlocks several useful opportunities and gear for Revenants. And we've got some perks down here. Reroll a match type, cost 10 favor. Start with a fresh corpse to reanimate, 5 favor per corpse. Divine intervention at +5 to your next recovery check. Reroll an encounter, so you can spend favor to put the odds in your favor. Pun intended. And then there's a couple of things here where you can buy, like access to the alchemist, costs 30 favor. Access to the reliquary, costs 30 favor. Access to the Sigildry Tattooist, costs 40. And those benefits are permanent, so you definitely want to get those up, because the Tattooist will let you get more masteries for sure on your body without having to get it on your gear. So it's also a mechanism for improving the strength of your character. And the Alchemist, the Reliquary, and the Tattooist are all kind of vendors. And there's additional information in the back where you can purchase different items from them. And you use favor to get those. The Tattooist will let you tattoo up to 5 mastery abilities on your body. And the Sigildry Mastery, it costs 20 favor each, so you want to try to unlock that, because other than this, gear is the only way you can get mastery, so it lets you get more masteries on yourself. And each vendor has some favor perks that you can purchase, not vendor, patron, from your specific patron. So Okla has their perks here, like a scroll of strength, strengthening salts, endless rage, physical based perks, right? Jarek Morwood has scroll of wisdom, guided meditation, that's magical based perks. But for us, for Kairos, we got supple souls, increasing our speed, that we can get abundant resources. Roll once on the materials table every downtime phase, so we can get extra crafting materials. Veldonia Artificer, you can craft black powder weapons. We can make a gun if we wanted to. Mastercraft weapons, when you deal a critical with a weapon, you can add 1 to your roll on the critical hit table. That would be great. It can only be taken once. Special training, get 100 dedication. So those are all items that you can use to buy favor. All right, so we have gotten our patron set up. We've went over the rules around favor. That's basically a resource you can spend for boons and advantages, and to unlock different areas in the game, like the Alchemist, the Reliquary, or the Tattooist. So now let's circle back a little bit and look at Kayla. So when we started off, we picked the 2 basic tier 1 masteries. So Kayla is a Dreadshot and she's a Mindbinder. Now to purchase those, we had to spend dedication. So you start with 150. It costs 5 each for a tier 1 ability. That took us down to 140. But you could actually have purchased more. Now it would still have to be under whatever mastery you picked. But we could actually purchase a tier 2, tier 3, however many abilities we wanted to, and continue to spend this dedication. So today, we're going to fill out her masteries just a little bit more before we get back into the arena. Now we can only have 2 right now because our rings have our mastery Sigildry. We only have 2 rings, so until we unlock something or get some gear, we're not going to be able to purchase any additional masteries, but we can go down the list. All right, so let's go take a look in the book and see if we can find the cost of the additional mastery abilities. Just give me a second here. I'm not sure what page that is on. No, masteries are in the back. Here, let's see. Cost of masteries. Character skills, dedication. Okay, let's go to page 218. All right, 218, masteries. All right. Dedication. Each time you gain access to a new rank, you earn 20 dedication. Training is on page. All right, here we go. So at the bottom of page 218, tier 1 abilities cost 5. Tier 2 abilities cost 15. And tier 3 abilities cost 35. All right, so based on that, tier 2 costs 15. Let's see, so I'm gonna just put 1 equals 5. 2 equals 15. 3 equals 35. Tier 4 equals 75. And tier 5 equals 150. All right, so let's go ahead and look up our Dread Shot Mastery and see what we want to get. So we'll go back to the Mastery section. See where that is. Masteries. Okay, Dread Shot. All right. Tier 2 is Fear Shot. It's 1 standard action, costs 5 Aether. Range is the weapons, 1 target, duration 3 rounds. You imbue your shot with dread, making sure your target fears you, your very existence. Target is frightened. And you have to purchase these in a row, so you can't skip. So I think we'll take that. Depending on what enemy, it could be handy or not. So mastery. Again, we're gonna write Dread Shot on our unlocked mastery abilities, part of our character sheet. The ability is called Fear Shot. It is tier 2. It costs 5 Aether. Range is weapons range. Duration instant. Target is 1. Description, target is frightened. Okay, that's going to cost us 15. Now, tier 3 is Quick Shot. That's 1 standard action, costs 5 Aether, weapons range, 1 creature. You let loose an attack, and before it can reach its target, you have already shot again. Perform a standard attack with your equipped weapon. If your strike hits, you can immediately make a free attack, roll again. The second attack is hard, minus 20 to the skill. All right, so let's grab that as well. So we're going to write Dread Shot. We are going to take Quick Shot ability. It is tier 3. This costs 5 Aether. Weapons range. Duration is not applicable. Target is 1 creature. Shoot again after hit. Shoot after hit. And it's minus 20 to the roll. Right. So tier 2 is 15. Tier 3 is 35. So 15 and 35 is going to give us 50 dedication that we have spent. So to get these 2 abilities, it costs 50 dedication. Let's go back to our main section of our character sheet. We were at 140. So now we're going to be down to 90. And we will probably buy the tier 2 and tier 3 for Mindbinder as well. That will take us down to 40, but let's take a look at that skill before we decide. Right. So Mindbinder tier 2 is Taunt. One standard action. You push pure rage and hatred into your target's mind, drawing their attention and fury. Target is forced to attack you. It will ignore any other action other than getting into attack range and behavior and focus only on attacking you. Maybe. Tier 3 is Calm. One action, costs 4 Aether, range 4, duration 3 rounds, target 1 creature. You erase all trace of your existence from the target's mind, who becomes oblivious. As long as you don't attack it, the target will ignore you and focus on a different character. Okay, so for these ones, I don't think we care that much about taunting and Calm. We do have Suppressed Mind that stops them from doing magical attacks, so we want to keep that one. Let's go back and look at Dreadshot and see if we want to take a level 4 Dreadshot skill instead. Tier 4 is Arcane Cover. You make the air in front of you congeal, becoming as solid as a wall. Causes a square directly in front of you to become full cover for D4 plus 1 rounds. Spells are affected by this cover. Arcane Cover could be good. Cost 6 Aethers, high Aether expenditure. But that could be good. Let's go ahead and take, instead of taking the Mindbinder Mastery, let's take Arcane Cover Tier 4. So Dreadshot. And we're going to take Arcane Cover. And that's going to be Tier 4, cost 6 Aether, range of 1, no duration, causes a square directly in front of you to become full cover. Square becomes full cover for D4 plus 1 rounds. D4 plus 1 round. Okay. And a tier 4 that costs 75 dedication. So we'll have 15 dedication left. And we will stop there with Kayla's upgrades. Okay. Now we can take a look at what our next arena match will be. So we got our patron, we reviewed our favor, we revisited Kayla's character build to spend more of her dedication. We have some loot, but I don't think we're gonna upgrade any weapons or anything yet. I don't think we're gonna try to do that yet. We'll see if we survive another match before we decide to really flesh out more from that perspective. So let's take a look at setting up the arena match. So for our next match in the arena, we go to page, where is it? Also, after matches, you would typically do downtime events. We don't do that for the first match, but after the second match, we would see what happens on the downtime event. All right. The downtime phase after the arena phase, you would roll recovery, roll on the downtime event, get your spoils, tally up your favor, craft new gear, and trained. And if you mark any skills for improvements, you could do your level up skill checks then. All right, so now we are in the arena phase. So what is our goal for the game, right? We have these arenas that we're fighting in. They're basically 11 ranks. And in order to become reborn and regain our freedom, a Revenant must go through all of them. Each rank has a number of mandatory elite matches that must be completed in order to move on, and an undefined number of optional, non-elite matches that can be completed to obtain better gear and skills. You decide when you are ready and want to face an elite, and when you want to face a non-elite. But this must be done before any other aspect of the match is decided. The only exception to this is your first match, which we just did, which is always against a non-elite encounter. So we have to fight through 11 ranks of enemies. You could just choose to just fight elite after elite after elite if you felt like you were up to it. But ideally, you would want your character to gear up first before taking on an elite challenge. Now, elites have vulnerability and resistances. Every elite encounter in the rank is vulnerable and resistant to a specific damage type. Paying attention to these is crucial in order to plan for your fight against them. This will allow you to craft and obtain gear suited toward the correct damage type, providing you with an edge in the fight against them. Of course, you can always brute force it and ignore their damage type vulnerability, but fights will be considerably longer and dangerous. So what is Kayla preparing for? So to go from the first rank to the second rank, and here's the rank list up here with the vulnerabilities and the damage types. We would need to defeat one elite. This elite, whenever we decide to fight it, is going to be vulnerable to acid. So if we find equipment that gives us an acid attack, that could be beneficial. And it's going to be resistant to poison. So we don't want any poison-based equipment. And each rank basically is representative of the 11 major deities in the local pantheon. That's why there's 11. The first one is related to Anera, the goddess of luck. So hopefully we can get some good drops, defeat the first elite, build some acid weapons, and move on our journey to get our freedom. All right, so that's our goal. Win 11 ranks to get out. Fight non-elite matches. When we feel like we're ready, we say we're going to fight an elite. You have to do that before you can roll the match types or any of that stuff. All right, so let me check the time. Okay, we're doing decent on time now. So let's go ahead. Let's jump into the arena phase. Let's figure out what Kayla's going to be up against in her next match. So the arena phase has 6 steps. And we'll go through each of these one by one. They're listed there. Number 1, determine the match type. So on page 75, there is a match type table. It can be a death match, control, endless assault, elemental vortex, a massacre, pain storms, a wandering beacon. We are going to get a D8 and we are going to see what our match type is going to be. All right, so we got our D8 here. Roll this up. A5. So her first match is going to be elemental vortex. And if we had chosen to fight an elite enemy, the elite enemy matches are always death matches. So let's take a look at elemental vortex. Oh, let's not. Second, let's take a look at match events. So once you know what sort of match you're going to have to go through, the next step is to find out what unique conditions are going to be present during the fight. For that, we have to roll on the match event table. So that is a D20 table. The first 1 through 10 are no events. The match takes place as normal. We could be dealing with darkness, difficult terrain, howling winds, aether funnel, anti-magic field, fog of pain, gravitational flux, wild magic, curse of entropy, or meteor showers. That could be rough. So let's see what our match event is going to be. We're going to take this D20, roll it up, and see what we get. Okay. 15. I was hoping to roll something lower. Anti-magic field. Each time a magic action or ability of any kind is used, roll a D20. A result of 10 plus means that the action fails. Aether spent to cast it is lost. So there is an anti-magic field over the arena. So let me just write down. Our first match was the intro match. That was Skeletal Horrors. Not a problem. That was a death match. That was just to see if she could make it. Match number 2 is going to be an elemental vortex. / anti-magic field. Well, the good news is we don't have too many magic attacks, but it's magic action or ability. So basically anytime we spend Aether. So even quick shot, that could be a problem. Next, determining your opponents. Who you face during an arena match is determined randomly, whether it's a standard encounter or an elite one. Use the tables in Chapter 5 to learn who you will be fighting against. You must roll once on the standard opponent table when determining who you must face during the match, if your team consists of only one Revenant, which we are. If you're playing with more Revenants in your party, full-fledged characters, not minions, you must roll once on the support opponent's table and then once on the standard opponent's table per each extra character in your party. So basically, since it's just us, we'll just roll once, but if you were playing with multiple people, you will play once for the opponent and then roll on the support table for everybody else. Placing characters in the arena. Once you're ready to start the match, the last detail is to deploy all the characters that will be taking part in the fight. One team is placed on the west end, the other is placed on the east end. In order to determine which team is placed where, roll d10 for each team. Whichever team rolls the highest is placed on the west side of the arena. If there's a tie, roll again. Okay. All right, so let's go to determining our opponent. And then we will look at our elemental vortex map setup. Well, actually, since I'm on that page, let's start with that. So elemental vortex match. This dangerous arena variant plays as a standard deathmatch, but with a twist. The arena is covered in dangerous elemental vortices. Place the hazard tokens on the arena as shown on the image, okay? The objective is to eliminate all opponents. The hazard tokens on the arena represent clouds of pure elemental energy that is in flux. They interrupt line of sight, and when a character steps on a square occupied by a hazard token, they take D4 direct damage of a random type according to the elemental vortex damage table. All right, so we'll have these energy vortexes around the table that we'll have to avoid. And if somebody steps on it, they'll take damage. So we might have to try to position ourselves in a way to avoid these things. Right, between that and the anti-magic field. Now we'll go to Chapter 5 for creatures of the arena. And we will roll up our creature. All right, so let me see. There should be a table here with monsters, elite enemy behavior, creature details, creature tape. Okay, here we go. Standard opponents. So this is a D66 table. And let's see what we come up with. So we will roll 2 dice. Let's see. I don't have a different color one. All right, so we'll just roll it twice and see. So first one is going to be the 10s. So we're going to be facing 20 something. 24. Flesh melt slime. All right, so we are in an elemental vortex. We're going to be going up against flesh melt slime. Where is it? Necropede, Pelix. Is this not in alphabetical order? Standard opponent, 24, flesh melt slime. All right, let me fire spore fungus. I don't see it. Skittercraw Mender, Spectral Symbiote, Umbrolate, Aether Storm, Elemental, Archers. Oh, here we go. Flesh melt slime. This abominable ooze is a repulsive amalgamation of melted and rotten flesh. Its form constantly shifting and quivering. Its surface appears as ghastly palette of decomposing bodies. Their tortured features forever frozen in twisted agony. As it oozes and stretches, it leaves a trail of putrid ichor and dissolving bone in its wake, leaving the very ground it touches barren and tainted. The flesh melt slime feeds on the life essence of its victims, its acidic touch melting flesh and reducing bones to a grotesque pulp. Nightmarish moans and wails echo from within its semi-translucent mass, a haunting chorus of the countless souls consumed by its restless hunger. So it's melee, it's construct undead. There's only going to be one of them. Size is 2, so it's a little bit bigger. Speed is 1. Minus 20 initiative, 18 health. Combat skill is 50. Okay, so it's slow. So that will be Kayla's first match in the arena. We'll get that set up for next time as we attempt to survive in the arenas of Veldonia. All right, I think that's going to wrap up our playthrough today. Feel free to hit that like button if you'd like to see more Carnage and Aether content. Let me know how your first arena battles goes. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And as always, thanks for watching and have a great day.